Mark Zuckerberg, known for his appearance in the hit miniseries iBook, has recently switched his focus from simulating friendship to simulating murder. That's right, he's been dabbling in a little bit of the jujitsu falsely advertised as the gentle arts. Now obviously, he is a man of means, he can afford to pay for the best coaching and training in the world, but that alone will not get you the skills that you want if you're not gonna apply yourself to go through the grind like we all do. In the words of the great George R.R. Martin, there is no royal road to jujitsu, or maybe that was CM Punk actually. How good at jujitsu is the Zuck? Today we're gonna take a look at some training between him and Lex Friedman, a jujitsu black belt who needs no introduction. We're just gonna be taking a look at some key moments that I find to be very telling for reasons that we will get into. If you want to watch the full training session in its entirety, I'm gonna link that down below. Go give it a watch. Make up your own minds. This breakdown is gonna be split into 3 different parts. The basics, i.e. the fundamentals and how well he executes on them. The roadmap, which is basically his overall understanding of the broader concepts. And finally, his standout moments, i.e. moves that he has a natural affinity towards. Natural affinity? What the hell am I saying? Moves that he's naturally good at. Now we all know that grip fighting is an important part of jujitsu, but just like that guy that always skips foreplay, when I say use your hands, I could be speaking a different language to you. In this example, we see that as Lex is trying to engage him, Zuck is gonna push him away because he doesn't feel comfortable with where this is going. As a general rule of thumb, whatever your opponent is trying to do, you want the opposite of that. As Lex is trying to work his guard a little, Mark is using his hands to control his feet, as he knows this is where the threat comes from. But he makes the mistake of letting him get his shoulders off the mat, which allows him to stand back up. Now Lex is obviously being a nice partner, letting Zuck work here a little. Something Lex is doing is throwing a lot of moves at Zuck, but not really putting any power behind them. This is similar to what happened when I sparred Jeff Chan. He was throwing high volume on the punches, but going very light on the power, so none of them actually hurt, which is just called being a nice training partner. Again, we see that Mark is using these grips to try to off-balance Lex, set up a guard pass, but he's gonna use this straight arm to get his back off the mat, and then start the dreaded butt scoot, which Mark is clearly not a fan of. Again, we see some good defensive grips here by Mark. He also knows to shoot his hips back, making it hard for Lex to go for a takedown or something, but he's fallen into Lex's head and sleeve grip, which he uses to go for a snap down into single leg. Clearly Zuck knows he needs to go for a whizzer here, but he allows his leg to be pulled across Lex's body, which gives him an easy takedown. But Mark is going to use that same head and sleeve grip to set up his own single leg takedown. Now he is making the mistake of looking down, which is compromising his posture. This would make it easy for Lex to go for something like a guillotine or just defend the takedown if he wanted to. He makes the same mistake here looking at the ground, but then kind of fixes his posture. And as Lex is dancing around a little, he converts it to a nice little double leg. And again is being proactive with his grip fighting, looking for a pass. Here Mark has found himself in top quarter guard. Lex has a solid underhook here, which he can use to pop out the back door and start setting up an attack like so. Mark understands he needs to sprawl out, shooting his hips back. He is making the mistake of putting his knees on the ground, which is taking the pressure off of Lex. But as Lex is sitting up with an arm drag, Mark knows he needs to break that off and get out of there. So what do I mean by roadmap? This is how you fit your moves together essentially to get from point A to point B. Basically, if you start in a given position, say side control, you understand the routes that you have to get out of there and start progressing your own game. In this example, we see Mark using his grips looking for some sort of guard pass. As Lex sets up, he understands that he has a route to circle around and take his back. From here, he's looking to control the hands, probably trying to slide his hooks in, but he's given Lex too much space to work. He understands he's not going to get the back here, so he's going to instead transition into north-south control, which kind of sounds like the name of a movie made for modern audiences. Here he's let Lex get deep on a shot. He's gonna go for a guillotine attempt as Lex takes him down. Now that's not the tightest guillotine I've ever seen, but as he's controlling the head, he's gonna push off on the legs. This is gonna allow him to pull that bottom leg in, putting Lex in his closed guard, which is a good play by him, using the guillotine attempt to keep himself from being put in side control. In our last clip, he's gonna use these grips. Lex is gonna pop up to his side and Mark's gonna circle to his back. This time he's able to grip his hands together for a solid over-under control. He's gonna put his top hook in and then pull Lex off to the side, allowing him to do a little bit of finagling to put in his other hook. Here he knows he wants Lex off to his side instead of being on top of him. And from the back, he's gonna go for a textbook finish, the rear naked choke. So overall, it seems he has a pretty good understanding of how to chop up something like point A to point B into a lot of smaller steps. Now he is missing some of the finer details. Like we already said, his posture could be better. He could have better balance for places like this. But all that will come with time if he continues to put in the work. For somebody who has been doing jiu-jitsu for only 1 year now, I'd say his progress looks pretty good. I mean, he did win his first jiu-jitsu tournament ever, so yeah, he's already done better than me there. Now Now, as far as his standout moves, there are a couple that come to mind. First of all, it's very clear that he loves taking the back. Here he's gonna circle, get stopped by the underhook, and then circle all the way around, continuing to attack the back. I mean, just look at the way he's gonna throw his leg over that arm just like Gordon Ryan. What kind of beginner is doing that? Also of note is this nice little scooping double leg. He likes to hit it off the single attempt, but also when he has legs pinned up against the wall, he's simply gonna pop a squat, grab his legs, poof, get the takedown. But by far what I find most impressive is his north-south choke. Once he locks it up, he's gonna shoot his hips backward like Marcelo Garcia, sinking his bicep into Lex's neck. He's gonna go for it again in this clip. Now it should be obvious here that Lex hasn't been going more than 10% this entire training session, but I mean, that's a clean-ass north-south choke. I'm a brown belt, and I still struggle to do it. Now this is just a summary of their training session. I'm gonna put a link for the full thing down below. I highly recommend checking it out. It's clear that Mark is very much into jiu-jitsu. You're not just gonna be pulling those north-south chokes out of your ass like that if you're not. Who knows, maybe we'll even see him at an ADCC a few years in the future.